Yo, it's your man Georgia Boy, bringing you another live video from Division 2, and I just wanted to go over this magnificent blue screen uh, negotiators build that I had sitting around for a while now. It's a very unique build to me, preferably because of the talents that the exotic LMG um, gives, as well as the talent of the Negotiator's Dilemma. And if you're familiar with Negotiator's Dilemma, you know that Negotiators is very, very powerful. It's a pretty old build. It's like one of those day ones, but when it came out, it was powerful then, and it's still very powerful now. All right, so shout out to the Hit Clan, uh, Hit High in Talent, and that's what the name of the clan is. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Twitch, YouTube at G underscore boy T. That's G underscore BOYT. Now let's get into the build. All right, so starting out with the specialization, I'm using Gunner as my specialization, and preferably because I'm using the LMG. Doesn't really matter what specialization you really use, but for me, I went for Gunner because it has the reoccurring ammo every 60 seconds. All right, so let's get into the exotic. So this exotic LMG is called the Bluescreen. If you have it and you know it's a pretty good gun, it's pretty stable, it's got great stability. Um, the talent on this weapon is what is unique to me. It can help you in not only just whether you're doing global events where you have to um, pulse or disorient it or disrupt enemies, in the global events. This can be a weapon that can truly help you. But also, um, running full DPS with this gun also helps you because it gives you time to kill the enemies because of them being disoriented or disrupted, right? So, looking at the gun, it gives you LMG damage, damage to target out of cover, and that comes with the gun. And then, as you can see, it's also rolled with damage to armor. Now, notice damage to armor is probably one of the next best things to get on this weapon due to it being the LMG. But also, just so if you don't know, you can't get another damage to target out of cover in your third and your attribute, right? If only, right? So maxed out LMG damage, maxed out damage to target out of cover, and maxed out damage to armor. All right. Now, like I said, the talent. This is something that's gonna work well with the negotiators, and I'll show you why. This is called disruptor rounds, right? So shooting an enemy marks that enemy, all right? So you don't have to kill him; you just gotta hit him with the bullet. You mark him, and it adds a stat to the agent up to a count of 50. All right. So just be aware when they say stacks, it just means like 50 bullets, right? And 50 bullets hitting the enemy, that's 50 stacks gained to you. All right. So shooting a marked enemy refreshes the mark and adds stack to the agent. All right. So soon as you shoot an enemy, they're marked instantly, right? Whether you got to get one or two shots in, whatever the case may be, but they're marked. You'll see that little kind of looks like an Oregon football field, college football team symbol, right? But in the middle, you can see it has like a little reticle aiming on like a forehead. So that's what it is, and you'll see that symbol above enemy's head. So once you see that mark, that lets you know that enemy's been tagged. You can go to the next enemy, all right, for more tags. So, like I said, shooting a marked enemy refreshes the mark and adds stack to the agent. Now, when you deploy a non-shield skill, you remove all stacks on yourself, on the agent, and all marked targets trigger an effect. All right. So, however many enemies you have marked. All of those marked targets trigger an effect. Alright? So if you got 10 stacks, right? You 1 to 10 stacks, which means 1 bullet or 10 bullets, that pulses marked targets for 5 seconds. Alright? So it don't matter if you got 5 on the left, 3 on the right, or you just got 2 targets. If it doesn't matter. Even 1 target, you're still going to get that pulse. Alright? For 5 seconds. Alright, so from 11 to 25 stacks, pulse and disrupt, mark targets for 5 seconds. Right? So you got 11 to 25 stacks, pulse and disrupt, mark targets for 5 seconds. Alright? 25 to 49 stacks, it gives you pulse, disrupt, and disoriented mark targets for 5 seconds. Alright? Now, 50 stacks, you get pulse, disrupt, and disoriented mark targets. And with the 50 stacks, there's an additional all hostiles within 10 meters of marked targets for 5 seconds. Alright? So you get pulse, disrupt, and disoriented marked targets and all hostiles within 10 meters of marked targets for 5 seconds. So if you got 3 targets that you got marked, but you got 5 other targets around that's within the 10-meter range, they're also pulsed, disrupt, and disoriented for 5 seconds. Alright? It's kind of like the backpack talent creeping death, right? Or keeping in mind with the gear set brand, the Eclipse Protocol, how it spreads to the next NPC or nearest enemy, right? So that's kind of how that works, and this is why I feel like this gun works great whenever you're out in DPS world and you're just trying to take enemies out. You got 100 rounds in your gun, so you're not running out of ammo anytime soon or too quickly. And here they are, holding their hands on their head hitting their knees, they staggering left to right for 5 seconds. That just gives you more time to clear them out, right? So this is a very unique talent, and this effect will trigger immediately if any marked enemy is killed, right? So you can mark up 3 to 2 enemies, 5 enemies, 6, 10, doesn't matter. As soon as you kill one of those marked targets, pulse, disrupt, and disorient marked targets, right? You get all that. And plus the enemies that are 10 meters around the marked targets, right? All right, so that talent is very unique, and the reason I feel like Negotiator works very well with this is because of the talent that the Negotiator dilemma gives you, right? So just Negotiator's dilemma alone, right? Get 2 pieces gives you critical hit chance. 3 pieces give you critical hit damage. So that there alone automatically makes this a great gear set for DPS, right? So the talent, when you get 4 pieces, the talent hostile negotiations, it gives you critical hit mark enemies for 20 seconds up to 3 marks, right? So critical hit mark enemies for 20 seconds up to 3 marks total. When you critically hit a marked enemy, all other marked enemies take 60% of the damage dealt. So think about it, between the talent from the Bluescreen and the talent from this gear set, Negotiator gear set, like you're at a win-win. Like there's no losing with the combination of these. They kind of hand in hand, if you ask me, right? There's no, you're always win-win. So whenever a marked enemy dies from the Negotiator dilemma proc talent, all right? So whenever a marked enemy dies, you gain 2% critical hit damage, stacking up to 20 times or until comeback ends. Like, understand what just was said, right? So whenever a marked enemy dies from the Negotiator's dilemma talent being procced, you gain 2% critical hit damage, stacking up to 20 times. Come on, man. What's 2 times 20? You do the math, right? So that's an extra what 40% of critical hit damage that's being added to your already uh, critical hit damage that you currently have with this build. Like that's insane, right? So looking at the build, we got the Negotiator's Dilemma mask, maxed out weapon damage, maxed out critical hit chance, maxed out critical hit damage. With the vest, we went with Petrov, and the reason we went with Petrov is because LMG damage is increased by 10%, right? So not only do you get 10% just from having one piece Petrov defense group gear on, but you don't forget about your specialization, right? You're also getting another 15% LMG damage boost from your specialization alone, right? You can't forget that. All right. Attributes, we got critical hit damage maxed out. Went with armor regen, it's maxed out, and critical hit chance is also maxed out for the attributes. Now the talent, of course, you went with glass cannon to try to amplify, get as much multiplicative damage out of this build as possible. So all damage you deal with glass cannon is amplified by 25%. All right, all damage you take is amplified by 50%. So you got to be careful with glass cannon. You definitely can take more damage than you will put out, right? So next, we got the holster, Negotiator's holster, um, maxed out weapon damage, maxed out critical hit damage. For the attribute, we go into the knees. We got another Negotiator's Dilemma, weapon damage at 15, attributes, critical hit damage maxed out, right? Hands, we went with another Negotiator's Dilemma, which gives us our fourth piece. All right, so the weapon damage is maxed out, attributes, critical hit damage maxed out. Now you can go with another crit chance um, with one of these gears, but honestly, to me, if you're anywhere between 45, 50, I think you're in great range of critical hit chance. I don't think you need to really max it out because think about it. When you start playing with other people, they may have like the Coyote's mask on or something that's amplifying your character's critical hit chance or critical hit damage even more than what it is. So if you're already capped out at 60, I mean, you're not really gaining nothing from that Coyote's mask, which is basically something that helps the whole team, all your allies, right? And with the backpack here, we got the Seska Varoba. All right, automatically gives you crit hit chance, maxed out weapon damage, attributes, critical hit damage, critical hit chance, and another critical hit damage for the mod, all maxed out. And the talent is vigilance. All right, it increases weapon damage by 25%, and taking damage disables this buff for 4 seconds, right? So remember, taking damage with this talent will disable your 25% weapon damage that was gained, right, for 4 seconds. So when you're no longer taking damage after those 4 seconds, you will get your vigilance total weapon damage of 25% back. All right. And this works hand in hand, this vigilance talent, with the glass cannon. You get the plus 25% amplified damage from the glass cannon. So that there alone is basically 50% more weapon damage added to your arsenal. Now, it doesn't matter about your secondary. I just went with the Police M4. Got strained on it. Preferably consider you getting one that has damage to target out of cover. And the pistol, I just went with the lightning rod. Pistol damage maxed out, damage to target out of cover. And the talent on this is perfect salvage. Killing the target has an 85% chance to refill the magazine. All right. Skills, you want to have something on that's not a shield because with the LMG, you're not going to be able to use a shield with the LMG anyway, right? And another reason why that talent the LMG works well without a shield, even if you could use one, is because you have to deploy a non-shield skill anyway. All right. So skill I went with is the striker drone. Preferably is just to be used to distract ads. As I'm shooting, it just gives me more time to shoot the ads. And I went with the booster hive because of its ability to deliver a stimulant, right? Not only to me but to my allies. And preferably, I don't mind using it for my teammates or allies, but I kind of want to make sure I'm getting the most out of for myself, just to try to get the max buff and stimulant out of this booster hive. So it gives you increased weapon handling, it gives you hazard protection, and increased melee damage. All right, and that buff is a duration of 5 seconds, and it's a 20% buff amount, right? So it will help you a lot with this stimulant. It'll basically help you straighten up your aim with an LMG. It kind of jerks a lot. It also speeds up your reload speed, and you'll witness that whenever you see this gameplay with this build. So as you can see, I went down each section of AOE, accuracy, DPS, and range, and I basically turned the targets up to the hardest difficulty so that you can see how great this build works together, right? So we're gonna automatically be getting our talents from the Vigilant and the Glass Cannon, because for one, we're not taking any damage at all, so you get to view the full output of this build, and you're gonna be able to witness the talents that prop during the process of showing you how this build works. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to focus on the talent of the LMG, which is that Oregon looking college football team symbol right there. All right, he's marked. This target is marked from the LMG. All right, but also if you look to the left, it's also marked with the Negotiator's talent. So you're really getting two marked talents hand in hand. One is giving damage and the other one is applying status effects, right? So I mean, that's a win-win to me. So you shoot the enemy, tag another one, tag all the enemies you can tag. It doesn't matter if you got 1, 2, 3, but I just want to show you the effect of having multiple targets. Right? If I can get it, come on. It doesn't want to work for me. But as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 marked targets. Now you can mark as many as possible. If you got a whole barrage of enemies out there, you can mark them all, and this mark will not go away, right? Unless you deploy a skill. All right, so as you can see, all enemies are marked with only the talent from the LMG, the Bluescreen talent. Now, if I drop this skill, every last one of those targets had a status effect of disrupt and disoriented, and they were post. All the enemies were highlighted. They were post to show you where they are. All right. So let's try this again. Shoot. Pick up my hive. I'm gonna mark as many as we can. All right. Now keep in mind, with the Negotiator talent being marked, you can risk the chance of killing other enemies as well at one time. So be careful with that when trying to test it out. So now that we got all enemies marked, and if you look under the ammo count, you can see that the stack meter under the indicator for the not the SM, but the LMG talent indicator at the bottom. You see it's highlighted, but the bar on the bottom of it is only up, it's only partially full, right? So that's all these stacks. So as long as you're shooting enemies that are marked, your bar is going to stack. Once you get that full bar, that means you're at 50 stacks. All right. Remember, stacks are only bullet counts towards enemies. So if you're hitting an enemy and you have 50 mags, 50 bullets in your magazine, and each bullet hits the enemy, that's 50 stacks. All right. So one clip of 50 can give you a max stack, right? But what makes this even better is this gun alone holds 100 in the clip. So you're going to get your stacks regardless, as long as you're hitting enemies, right? So now that we're fully stacked, we're going to drop this. And you see how all of them have the disrupt, disoriented, and their post, all of them at one time. Now the sweet thing behind this is, let's mark them again. I want you to pay attention now that I have both, which is going to make this hard to show because they're all going to die, but I have both talents propped, right? Now, as I have both talents propped, I now can drop my hive. And now that both talents are propped, you see the other enemy dying as long as the negotiator talent is propped? Like, he's dead. Like, he's taking damage from one enemy. And if I prop that negotiator's talent on all of the ads or the targets, they're all going to die at the same time. They're going to take 60% damage from this one target that's getting all the damage, right? And not only that, I'm still getting pulse, because you can still kill the enemy, and as long as they have that LMG talent prop and you kill this enemy, they're going to highlight, they're going to get a status effect on their head, right? You see how he just highlighted right there? He has all the statuses because I killed the enemy that had the talent of the Bluescreen propped. Like, this is a win-win build. The build does great damage. On the body alone, I've seen it. I just saw it hit 759,000. Headshots go up to 926,000. So that's almost a million of headshots, 982 to be exact. And that's just based off how my character is built. Now, if you don't have your shade watch up to 1,000, you're going to see a slight difference in damage output. All right, so don't worry. Once you get to 1,000, max your watch out. Your character will have full permanent stats, and you'll be able to do this same damage output as I am. All right. So one more time, let's look at it. And like I said, the drone is out. You're deploying the drone. See, he's highlighted. He has disrupt, disoriented, and pulse as a status effect over his head, which gives me time to body him while he's staggered. Put my hive down for a boost. Let's get all of them. Let's catch them up this time. Let's drop the hive. Alright, all of them. They're disoriented. That helps me and my team, right? So I'm shooting him. He's about to die. And all that does is make the negotiator talent stay even longer. Every time he dies, it's propped. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That's just beautiful. That's beautiful. And as long as you have more than 2 targets propped on enemies for the negotiator, every time you kill somebody, that negotiator talent is going to continue to reset itself. It's never going to go away. Alright? So, hey, I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. If you happen to copy this build, or if you already have this build, I know you're having fun with it. In the comments, let me know what you think about the build. Remember to like and subscribe to my Twitch and YouTube at G_boyt. And I hope you all enjoy this build. Georgia Boy out.